Hi guys, it's Morgan from the Treasure Trove, and I'm back from the dead or something, I don't know. I am getting back into making videos, and I knew that my first video had to be another one of my like Dollar Tree beauty finds-ish style videos where I talk to you about some great makeup finds from the drugstore. And this time I'm going to talk about these awesome palettes. You might have heard them being talked about on YouTube. I haven't seen too many people talk about them, but they are these Beauty Treats matte eyeshadow palettes, and they're not exactly Dollar Tree beauty finds, but they are only $2 each, and I found mine at Five Below. I have the neutral, they call this the neutral matte palette, which is all warm neutrals, save for these two here. These are the cool toned, not exactly neutral. And then I have the Brights palette here, which they're definitely very bright. And looking at these, you might notice something. Do they look familiar at all? I can't tell you if they're dupes formula wise, but they're definitely dupes looks wise for those VISEART palettes that cost $80. Now all of these are matte, and I saw this sitting out for $2, and I was like, well, an all matte palette from the drugstore that's really good is really hard to find. It's only $2. Let me try this out. And girl, let me tell you, I was so shocked by how good. I was just blown away. They come in like a little cardboard package like this to help you find them easier. They're called the Beauty Treats 12 color matte eyeshadow palettes. Long wear intense color, smooth blendable application. And then this one was the 03 Brights palette, and I have the 02 neutral palette, and then they do have a cool tone one. I don't know if they have a warm one. I've only seen those three. They have an expiration date of May 2021. So 5 years. These are good. And they are cruelty free, not tested on animals, which is really nice. And they do have minimal ingredients. Being someone who only wears like super affordable makeup, I obviously don't have those VISEART palettes that cost $80, but I can tell you for $2, if you're looking for colors that are similar to the ones in the VISEART palette just for the colors and not the formula, I definitely would recommend picking these up. I mean, they're only $2. I paid $4 for both of these, and I've been wearing them nonstop. I actually took this with me to Seattle when I traveled, and this was the only eyeshadow palette that I wore the entire time pretty much. I took this with me too in case that I want a bright pop of color. Now, I will do swatches of the palettes. I'm going to take a cue out of Stephanie Nicole's book, and I'm going to show you swatches with a brush because that gives you a much better idea of how they actually will look on your eyelid, because swatches with your finger can be very misleading. And I found that when I got this palette and I first swatched it with my fingers, I was not impressed at all. I was like, oh, I probably picked up a dud. They kind of feel chalky, but on your eyelid they don't feel like that at all. I'm wearing this color here right now on my eyelid. I am so impressed by the pigmentation of these shadows, how well they blend. You can make a complete eye look just from this palette. You don't need to pull in any other palette, and the fact that it's all matte is just mind-blowing. Now I want to talk about this palette in particular, the Brights palette, because look at these colors. And how many of us have been fooled by, enticed by great drugstore bright eyeshadow palettes before, and matte eyeshadow palettes from the drugstore just in general, but specifically matte bright eyeshadows. I know we've all been enticed by them from the drugstore, hoping that they'll be everything you ever wanted for a budget price, and been disappointed. I went in with this with absolutely zero expectations because I have so many drugstore matte bright eyeshadow palettes that suck, and I was blown away. I used these two colors to create a really bright eyeshadow look, and I'll insert a picture of when I put it up on my social media with how bright these were. I went in putting so much on my brush, expecting to have to build up the color and the pigmentation, and right away I was instantly like, whoa, I put way too much on. This pink this pink is just out of control. It is so bright that you can probably see it from space. It is so bright, and the purple too, that it's a really nice warm purple. I haven't used any of the other colors on my eye, but I have like played around with the blue just for fun, and they're just crazy bright. Like I can't even, for $2, I just can't even believe that this thing exists. Like it's crazy. It's crazy because I have bought so many palettes, and I probably spent like the equivalent of an Urban Decay palette trying to find a good cheap like matte bright eyeshadow palette, or just bright eyeshadow palette in general from the drugstore. I have these, where are they? I have these BH Cosmetics palettes that I thought were going to be my everything, and just I bought this thinking that it was going to be great. There goes the stupid, why do we even need these anymore? Like, come on. Who actually really still uses these? They just get in the way and they fall out and they're just really annoying. So I bought this a long time ago thinking this was gonna be the answer to all my prayers, and I never reached for it. Compared to this, this looks like $80 quality eyeshadow, and this is like $1 quality. And this was cheaper than this. This was, I think, $5 or $10 for this. I think 10. It was like $10 for this. I thought it was going to be a great deal. I thought I was going to use it all the time, and I never reached for it, whereas this was $2, and I just can't stop playing with it. So if you're looking for some great matte eyeshadows to complete your collection, or if you just love matte eyeshadows, or you love neutrals, warm neutrals, anything like that, I definitely would recommend running out to Five Below as quick as possible to pick these up because they're amazing. I just can't say anything better about them. Like, I feel like this video is really repetitive because I just am blown away by the quality of these. Like, if you handed me this palette, I've said this before about some other gems that I found at the drugstore. If you handed me this palette with no label on it and was like, hey, just try this out, I would think this was high-end. So I'm going to insert the swatches right now so you can take a look. Here are the swatches of the neutral palette. Weird uneven texture when I swatch them. The only con I will say about these is the lighter colors obviously are less pigmented, and they do kick up a lot of fallout. Like, you'll notice a lot of powder when you go to use these. And here's the swatches of the Brights palette. As you can see, pretty bright. The only complaint I have about this palette is you can see that the greens, the lime green and the white are not very strong, but the pinks and purples and blues are very vibrant. This really nice orange comes out really, really strong. Another complaint that I have is that they have two matte blacks in this palette, which kind of doesn't make sense. And they're kind of patchy, so they're not the best black, but you're not really buying this palette for that. I'm sure you have other like nice matte black shadows that you can pull from if you need to add some more depth to the bright neon colors. But for $2, I think this is a crazy steal. So overall, they're not perfect, but for $2, they're definitely great. They do have a lot of fallout, so if you're someone that just hates that, no matter how cheap something is, I would definitely stay away from this. They are really well pigmented, they're very easy to blend, and I really think that they're worth $2. So I hope that this helped you find a really great gem at Five Below. I think you can buy them on the Beauty Treats website, so I'll link that down below if you don't have a Five Below in your area. And yeah, hope this video was helpful. So remember, hit that like button if you like the video, subscribe if you want, and remember, stay cheap and lazy. Bye! Seriously? Stop it.